We're going to do Exponent Properties LT 3A. We go ahead and we notice that in my denominator it looks a little funny with my radical, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this. I'm going to put my imaginary 1 with my 16, the 2 in between, and my imaginary 1 with the b. I'm going to keep the top the same, so I'm going to just keep that as 24, A12, B4. And now it becomes rewriting. So I'm going to start with my whole number of 16. And I have that as 1 over 2. Now I have a, and that's 12 over 2. And my b is not under my radical, so that stays as b to the 1. Now my top still stays the same. And I type in 16 to the 1/2 into my calculator and I get 4. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and my b stays the same. Now I work on dividing and subtracting my exponents. I have 24 divided by 4 is 6. I go ahead and I subtract since my bases are the same and I'm dividing. 12 minus 6, which is 6. And I have 4 minus 1, which is 3. And this is my final answer. In this problem, I'm going to fill in my index, which doesn't have a number, so that's going to be 2. 144 has an imaginary 1, and my z has an imaginary 1. I'm going to keep the 5 outside and times that all by my rewritten thing inside. So I have that as 144 raised to the 1 over 2. I have x to the 8 over 2, y to the 7 over 2, and z to the 1 over 2. Now I need to go ahead and simplify my inside. When I do 144 raised to the 1/2, I get that as 12. When I do 8 divided by 2, I get that to be 4. Y, I get 7 over 2, and I get a decimal, so I'm going to leave that as 7 over 2. For z, 1 over 2, I get a decimal, so I'm going to leave that as 1/2. Now my last step is just multiplying 5 times 12. 5 times 12 is 60, and everything else stays the same. This last problem, I'm going to put my imaginary 1 with the 120, and I need to multiply that 1/2 in. So I have 121, and when I do 1 times 1/2, I get 1/2. I'm going to have x, I do 14 times 1/2, which is 7. I'm going to do 22 times 1/2, which is 11. Now I type into my calculator 121 raised to the 1/2, which is 11. My x to the 7 and y to the 11 stay the same.